Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. I'm in Spain, and it is 5 to 10, so it's still morning. Drinking coffee, trying to wake myself up this morning, though I am awake to be honest, but I've only had one coffee so far. I have to have two before I'm completely awake. But I've had my breakfast and I'm all organised for once. Because Fridays I don't have any Spanish classes. For those of you who know me, you'll know that I'm a Spanish teacher. Some point during this video, I'm going to put on my little promotional video about my Spanish classes. I also do English classes. Oh, another thing I just wanted to say is voy a hablar un poquito en español también, porque hay muchos españoles y sudamericanos que tienen interés en el caso de Ana. You know, I'm going to speak in Spanish a little bit on this video when I remember, because there's a lot of obviously Spanish people and South American people that watch my channel and are interested in the case, particularly of Ana Knezevic. So, because Ana, well, I'm going to sort of briefly give you an update on the story of Ana and Samantha, the two women that I'm going to talk about today. So voy a explicar un poquito sobre Ana y Samantha, las dos mujeres de que voy a hablar hoy. Okay, so just working out where to start with this. So Ana Knezevic we'll start with, because we're looking at two women, similar cases on opposite sides of the world. So vamos a mirar dos mujeres, dos casos muy similares o con muchas similaridades, pero en diferentes partes del mundo. I mean, you couldn't really get much further away, I suppose, than Australia and Spain. Pero hay muchas similaridades. There are a lot of similarities and, of course, a lot of differences. Y también muchas diferencias. But what they have in common, lo que tengan en común, es que los dos casos, both cases, are murder. Someone's been arrested for the murder and detenido a alguien para asesinar a estas mujeres. Pero el cuerpo de las mujeres no se han encontrado todavía. So their bodies of these women they haven't found so far. That's what they've got in common. Two things. Their murderers are in custody. Yeah, los asesinos están en custodia. Pero falta encontrar el cuerpo. But we're still to find their bodies. But there seems to be progress in both. Parece que hay progreso en los dos. So I'm only going to speak Spanish when I'm talking about Ana's, story, which I'm going to talk about first. I'm going to talk about them sort of both together. So Ana Knezevic, or her family don't want her to be called Knezevic. Ana Maria Henao. Sorry, that's her maiden name. They'd like to forget about the name Knezevic because that's her husband's surname. And of course, he's the one, in her case, it is her husband who is now in prison in Florida. He was arrested at the airport and after refusing to, leave Serbia, where he's from. So I think the friends and family would probably like to drop the surname Knezevic, but I have to use it because that's how people recognize, I want people to watch these videos. I want them to get awareness. Sorry, let me just turn this banner off. I want them to get awareness. Oh, and I want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, liking videos, sharing videos. Thank you so much. Special thanks to my members who really, really help me support the channel and help give me the time. The more I can sort of make this channel successful, the more time I can dedicate to it. I already dedicate quite a lot of time to it, but you know, I do have another job, which is teaching Spanish and English. Sometimes I can't do videos when I want to because I have, you know, other commitments. So thank you especially to my members. Membership is €1.99 a month, and it's cancelable anytime, so it's cheap as chips. And also thank you to everyone who sent me a super chat, PayPal'd me, bought me a coffee, sent me an email, sent me a nice message, encouragement. So thank you. Okay, so where do I go now? There's always so many things to say. I need to say hello to everyone. I'm going to just say hello to people that have come in first of all before I start. Morning, Katrine. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Julie. Thank you for your message. Hi, David. Hi, Chumba. Hi, I nearly said hi. Hi, Daniel. Happy Friday to you too. Hi, Rini. Hope you're well. It's always nice to see people come back. You know, I don't see anyone for a while, but you know, life gets in the way of everything, doesn't it? Okay, so now I'm going to start telling you the story of Anna. I don't know if I can keep breaking into Spanish because it's just that I'm playing this video on my other channel as well, on my Spanish and English channel. And I can tell it always gets a lot of views when I do a video on, even on there, about Anna. So it's obviously a case that people are interested in who are learning English or live in Spain. But it's quite difficult. I should really do a separate video in English and a separate one in Spanish, but again, it's all about time, isn't it? So Anna, let's just have a brief hi Pat and Sheila Coyne. Let's just have a brief recap of Anna's case. First of all, we'll have a look at her. I've got a photo here somewhere to show. There she is. Lovely Anna, to all intents and purposes, a very nice, sweet woman. She's 41 years old. She's from Colombia originally. She moved to America, married David Knezevic, or David Knob, as I call him. Unfortunately, married him. They were married for 14 years, I think, and then it all went horribly wrong. I don't think it was ever really that right. He sounds like he was a complete twonk, you know, and in the end, Anna just had enough of it. But they had a business together, a very successful business over there in Florida. And so Anna, naturally, there's no children involved in this breakup, but Anna naturally wanted 50% of the business because she'd helped it grow it. David only wanted to give her 25% of the business. So that's probably the motive for this murder, which, you know, alleged murder, let's say. Anyway, Anna, to get away from David, she went off. She decided she was going to live in Madrid. She'd visited Madrid here in Spain. I went on location there, didn't I? I still need to put a full sort of documentary together. That's another thing on the list. She went off to Madrid, she was building a new life for herself. She was having a great time. She'd met new friends. She was having old friends over to visit. I've been in touch with one of her friends, Sana. We've been in contact throughout. She's pretty distraught, as you can imagine now, because it's pretty much certain that Anna is deceased. Anyway, there she was having a great time, and then suddenly she just disappeared, didn't she? And then it turned out it was all very suspicious because somebody was seen going on the CCTV, black spray painting out the CCTV inside her apartment block, and then coming out of the lift with half an hour later with a suitcase. Still makes me go cold to think of him coming out with a suitcase. Anyway, the Spanish police, Policia Nacional, they seem pretty much convinced that this was David. He was also spotted on CCTV buying duct tape, buying the black spray paint. David is one of these criminal masterminds that did everything wrong, made complete mistakes, thought he was clever, but luckily he wasn't. Let's have a look at the twonk David. Here he is. If you ever saw a psycho's eyes, there you go, you're looking at them. The thought that was the last sight that poor Anna saw is quite disturbing, isn't it? Anyway, so yeah, there was some mysterious messages sent from Anna's phone that turned out to be, well, they think it was David who sent them, because turns out he'd asked some woman that he'd met on a dating app to translate messages exactly the same for him. And luckily that woman had told her mum that she'd met this guy online. The mum Googled him, and it came up that his wife was missing. So that's how all this came to light, or part of how. I'm sure the police suspected him right from the beginning, but this is how they got the evidence together. Anyway, the police were hush-hush, completely hush-hush here in Spain. It was declared a secret case. Nobody could even talk about it, discuss it in the media, and the police and the courts were giving no information whatsoever. So it all felt like nothing was happening, as it does in these cases. And then suddenly, for some unknown reason, David decided he was going to go to Florida, probably because he was in Serbia all this time. He wouldn't go to America. He wouldn't come to Spain. He's probably terrified of being arrested. But eventually he just did it. He went to Florida and he was arrested as soon as he got off the plane. So I think they were deliberately trying to lull him into a false sense of security. And he thought, he was home safe. I really do think that he thought, nothing's happening. Anyway, he was arrested at the airport without incident, and he is now languishing in a prison. There he was refused bond as he is a flight risk, thank God, because clearly he is. And then all sorts of bits of evidence came out, one of which was he was actually probably in Madrid. So he's done it himself. We did wonder, didn't we, if he'd employed, because he's got quite good resources, David. He's got a lot of money. If he had paid somebody to do it. Oh, no. He went off and tried to do it himself. It's bad enough if you employ someone, to kill your ex-partner or whatever, but what sort of a person, when you've been in a relationship with somebody, loving relationship, I'm sure for a lot of the time, how do you do that? How do you look them in the face, murder them? God knows how he got her into the suitcase. Did he cut her up? Or, she was very petite, Anna, I've got to say, even you can't tell from photos and things, but she was very, very small. So, and where did he get the suit? Did he take the suitcase in there with him, or did he take one of her suitcases? Who knows? But anyway, it turned out he'd rented a car from Serbia, and the amount of mileage on that car when it was returned to the rental car office, the amount of mileage was compatible with a car journey from Serbia to Madrid. And also, when he took the car back, he'd had tinted windows put in it, like you do with hire cars. And also, it had different number plates, because he said the other number plates had been stolen. And they were actually reported stolen from the street. Well, call it a street, but it's a Gran Via, where Anna's apartment block is, a massive, busy road. That's where they were reported missing from. So, as I say, it's not exactly, criminal of the year, left so many clues, if you like. And I still think he just thought the Spanish police are just like Keystone cops. they're not going to look into it too deeply, or he was just so complacent. Anyway, got the Spanish police completely wrong, because the Spanish police are really, really efficient. The Policia Nacional, which I suppose you'd call the equivalent of the FBI, very, very efficient. And the other thing is they collaborate. They worked with the FBI, they worked with the government in Serbia, and they worked with the government in Colombia, which is the police in those places, because Colombia was where the woman that he was, that he'd got to translate the messages for him, the woman that he'd met on a dating app. Some woman he'd met on a dating app, he's getting her to translate these messages and giving her his real name. Because he's thinking nothing will link up. I mean, doesn't he know about the internet? All the mum had to do was put his name in a Google search, and it comes up that his wife's missing, and he won't return to America. It wasn't. You didn't have to be Sherlock Holmes. You didn't have to be, the greatest investigator in the world to just put David Knezevic's name in Google. They collaborated with the Colombian police as well. So that's the Spanish police, the FBI, the Serbian police, and the Colombian police all working together, which resulted in the arrest of this twonk. Let me get his face off there, put Anna back up. In fact, I'll put me back up while I'm talking for a bit. So that's sort of where we are. So he's in prison, but he has not said where Anna's remains are. So this is what this case has got in common with Samantha Murphy, isn't it? Because Samantha Murphy, again, disappeared quite a long time ago. I think they both disappeared around about the same time, because I sort of happened upon Anna's case as I was probably doing research on Samantha's case, and things about missing women come up. The same with Samantha. It went quiet, didn't it? The police were very secretive, but I think they've dealt with it all. You can't complain about the way they've dealt with it, I think. And eventually, then suddenly, out of the blue, they arrested Patrick Stevenson, didn't they? The 22-year-old. But unfortunately, he's not cooperating. He and David are just like, talk about they're two twonks, talk about two brothers from another mother. That's exactly what they are. But they're twonky brothers from another mother. So this is Samantha, who went missing, didn't she, back in February on a morning run. So her alleged murderer, is in custody. But again, like David Knezevic in Florida, not cooperating with the police. So we're looking for these women's remains, because these women deserve the dignity of a proper burial, not to be discarded like rubbish wherever these twonks have discarded them. And that's what, on that note, I think I'm going to light the candle. I haven't lit the candle yet. So the candle lighting today is especially for Samantha and Anna and their families, of course, their friends and family that are still in torment, because although their murderer is in custody, which must be a comfort, they haven't been able to bring their loved one home, say goodbye to them properly, bury them, bury them or give them a service, and know that they're not just lying out there like trash somewhere. That is a big comfort. Even though, as we always say, it's a cold comfort, it's a big comfort. Imagine your loved one, and I know there's some of you out there who do know how it feels, not knowing where they are or exactly what happened to them. You want answers, even though you can't have your loved one back, what you want are at least answers. What happened to them? How did it get to this place? So that's the similarities between the two women. Okay, both went missing. Both their alleged murderer has been caught and is in prison, but neither of them have been brought home to their families. Now that's different from another case that we look at, of course, Rachel Marin, over in America, in Maryland, where her body has been found, and her family have had that comfort of being able to put her to rest. But the murderer hasn't been found, so I don't know what's worse. But anyway, hi, Gillian. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Julie. So this morning, well, last night, I found on the Policia Local, the Policia Nacional website, that they were searching for Anna. And then this morning, Julie, one of the chatters, who's on here now, lives in that area or not far from that area, and sent me a message to say that it'd been on the Madrid news that they were searching an area called Soraya, which is, it's a little way from Madrid, isn't it? It's not near Madrid, but it's interesting where it is because it is on the way to Serbia. If you were going back to Serbia, driving to Serbia, Soraya is on the way. And I expect that's exactly what the police are doing. They'll be tracing David Knezevic's steps or his car journey and searching wherever, maybe on his phone, there's evidence that he stopped for a little while. I've seen a case like this before, very similar. Another Eastern European guy killed his wife in Britain, and then they caught him by following his sat-nav. What places he stopped for a long period of time, but remote places, not if he stopped at a service station or whatever, because obviously he's not going to just chuck the body out there. But anytime he'd stopped in quite a remote place, and they eventually found that man's wife in his country, which I think was Lithuania or a similar country. Anyway, so this will be what the police are doing. So first of all, I'm just going to show you the search that was done by the Policia Local that came up on Twitter last night. Let's see. No. Where is it? Have I lost it? Policia Local. Policia Nacional. Now, I'm following them. I wasn't following them before, but I noticed it on somebody else's feed. And the first thing I just want to say is what I've noticed going down their Twitter feed. Anyway, I've not looked on their Facebook profile. But did they just look very efficient? I don't know. I mean, and I think one of the qualifications of becoming a Policia Nacional is you need to look really nice in a uniform, because they just, I don't know, they just always look really nice. Their uniforms are very attractive. There's a lot of men and women in the force. This is what we're looking for. There's quite a lot of videos. I wonder, it look like this. So they'll have a very attractive woman in a uniform giving them some information, or a very attractive man in a uniform giving some information. They can't all be that attractive, surely. But, sometimes you think, oh, my God. So I always feel sorry for the police in Spain, because they have to wear their uniforms. Imagine during COVID, they had because they were everywhere, stopping everyone. They were very much enforced during COVID. And not only their uniforms, but a mask and a hat, doing road stops and things in 40 degrees heat. It must have been a nightmare. But anyway, so they posted this 21 hours ago. So I read it in Spanish and then I read it in English. Agentes de policía junto a las investigadores de la oficina del FBI en Madrid and Florida. Oh God, I'm going from Spanish to English now. Apoyados por guías caninos y GEO, continúan los labores de búsqueda de vestigios y pruebas que permiten la localización de Ana Knezevic. La investigación sigue abierta con múltiples líneas. So there you go. So what they're saying is police agents or police officers, along with investigators from the FBI in Madrid and Florida, and supported by dogs, search dogs, and all I would imagine is geographic profiling of some kind. But you know what I'm like with initials, I have no clue where it stands for, but I wonder if it's to do with that, because they're probably following his phone signal. They're continuing their search for traces and evidence that would help to localize Ana Knezevic. And the investigation continues open with multiple lines or multiple threads. What would we call it in English? Multiple leads that that sort of point out specific scenes. So here we go. This is so for some, they've released, and this is one of the places that they're searching. It's still all you've got the FBI agent. Job, isn't it? We, going, oh, imagine looking down there and what you look at. Well, I bet they're looking for a suitcase. I would be very surprised if he took her out of the suitcase to dispose of her. I think they will find a suitcase. I certainly hope they will, with Anna inside. Let me just make sure. I don't think I've missed anyone now. So, yeah. Davido, yeah, he might as well put a sign above his head saying it was me. He's the worst. No, just totally thick. I mean, I'm glad he's thick, obviously, it's better that he was thick, but you just think, how did that really? Imagine him sat down, you can imagine him sitting writing the plan down, because first of all, when he sprayed out the CCTV in the apartment, he didn't spray it out properly. That's how they managed to actually see someone coming out of the lift that looked like David with a suitcase, because he hadn't sprayed over the CCTV well enough. And then, of course, he'd gone in the local ferreteria, we call them, the hardware store, to buy the paint and the duct tape, and I didn't cover his face or anything, so it's just rubbish, absolute rubbish. And then renting the car and then taking it back with tinted windows, it's like bloody, you just think, what a fool. But anyway, I'm glad he's a fool, obviously, because that's led to him being caught, but what an idiot. Let's just watch this again. So what I think, and I may be wrong, but I was thinking I might even write to Policia Nacional, because there might be a little bit, an email, not a letter. There might be a little bit more forthcoming now that he's actually been arrested, because of course it was all so secret. Maybe it's not quite so secret now. I'm not saying they give me all the details of the investigation. Of course they won't, but might say something, whereas before they would not have said anything. There might be something they want to say. I don't know. Well, I can only write to them, and then if they don't answer or they tell me we can't say anything, well, we can't say anything. But if you don't ask, you don't get, do you? But yeah. So I think they'll be retracing David's steps for the way he went to Serbia from Madrid. And I'm not sure what area this is that they're actually searching. This could be Soraya, I don't know. But there'll be data from his phone that will show that he's stopped in certain places for more than just. And the thing, at the end of the day, that particular place, so why would you stop there? It's not a service station. It's not, so they'll be like, well, why has he stopped there? And if he's been there for a length of time, they've got the cadaver dogs and they've got the geographic profilers or whatever, I think they'll find her. I do think they will find her, because David, like Patrick Stevenson, he sat there in his cell not saying a word. But there'll come a time when he'll have to say something, because David, he's looking at the death penalty. He's in Florida and he's likely to get the death penalty if he doesn't make some sort of plea bargain with the police. So, if he's got any sense, well, of course, we know he hasn't got any sense, but hopefully his lawyer who was at, all over the bloody social media saying how innocent he was. And I noticed on some of these comments on the Twitter, sorry, Elon, I can't call it X. A lot of Spanish people are saying that his lawyer should be prosecuted for giving out false information, that because he was all over the place saying, oh, my client is innocent and blah, 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 blah. People are incensed at that. So I know that's what he gets paid for. But, if you get paid to murder someone, then is that okay? Because it's just doing your job. There should be some sort of sanctions against these people. So, yeah, they'll be searching everywhere. So just wanted to show you that. And now I want to show you, apparently, as Julie was telling me, because she's in Madrid, so it's been on a Madrid news station, that they're searching a place called Soraya. And I want to show you where it is, in comparison to Madrid. Where is it? So here's Madrid. Madrid is literally in the center of Spain. Trying to look, where's Soraya then? I've lost it now. Where is Soraya? There. So Soraya is here. You can see it's quite a way from Madrid. It's not just, up the road. It's about 2.5 hours apparently away. Now, but the interesting thing then is when I looked at how you would get from Madrid to Serbia, let's have a look at that. So Madrid, you'd go right up. According to Google Maps, this is the way you would go by car, 27 hours. It's not unlike how long it would take you to get to the UK. It's a similar, not that much. I think to get to the UK, I've done it in 24 hours. So Serbia is just that little bit further along. But yeah, you can see that you go up past where we were looking at. Oh, sorry, I haven't shared it. Where we were looking, where Soraya was, you go past it. So I think they're tracing his steps back from Madrid, is this exactly the way he's gone? Because I expect he's gone on Google Maps. 100% he's gone on Google Maps to find his way from Madrid to Serbia. It won't be something he's probably ever done before, and he knows the way. And it looks to me like you go right past Soraya. So I think that's what will be happening. The police will be searching every place that he stops. They'll be looking for this suitcase. I doubt very much that he will have taken her out of the suitcase. If she was indeed deceased in that suitcase, he won't have kept hold of the suitcase, will he? So I think they will find Anna probably in the suitcase. If not, what has he done with the suitcase? He has to have, if for whatever reason he's taken Anna out the suitcase, maybe buried her, he has to take the suitcase somewhere. things don't, that's it, things don't just disappear, do they? Unfortunately, well, say unfortunately, I mean fortunately, getting rid of evidence. It's one thing to murder someone, and you've got to cover your traces. That is the hard thing, isn't it? Well, it's hard to murder someone in my eyes, but for some people it doesn't seem that difficult. So yeah, they're going to find us soon. Oh, God, I hope so. I just hope so. I know, again, it's going to be like the Samantha Murphy thing, the excitement of finding her remains and bringing them home sort of obviously is very bittersweet because, one, it confirms, just any little tiny weeny bit of hope that a family or friends might have had, that she was being held somewhere alive, gone, once the body's found. But it's, knowing that she's not just out there. I mean, where is she? Just discarded somewhere in a bloody suitcase or buried or whatever. So maybe he's confident they won't find her. Maybe he thinks he won't get the death penalty if they don't find her. But I think he can still get the death penalty, whether they find her or not. Anyone who's in America, Florida, who's on the chat or watches this on replay crew, maybe they will know. I think, I think you still can get the death penalty, whether you say where the body is or not, whether the body is found or not. Yeah, he's definitely got the death penalty. And yeah, I agree, David. I don't think he'll have gone outside. He'll have got rid of Anna's body as soon as humanly possible, won't he? Because he won't want to take a chance on even just getting stopped for speeding or, having a flat tire like Stephen Stearns getting a flat tire. He couldn't take a chance on. That's why he had the windows tinted. That makes you wonder why that he'll have had the windows tinted so his face can't be seen in the car. I wouldn't imagine he would have had Anna sat up in the car like Stephen Stearns did. I think if she was in a suitcase, he would have just put her in the boot, but he'd be wanting to get rid of her pretty quick. So I expect the police and the FBI, etc., they'll have worked all that out, I'm sure, before I did. And they know that she's unlikely to be very far from Madrid. Bodies are rarely found a long way away from where somebody is murdered because, again, like Stephen Stearns with Madeline Soto, they have to get rid of them as soon as possible because they cannot be caught with the body. It's bad enough what they've done. They might get caught by evidence and that. But one thing that's for sure, if they get caught with a body in the boot, they're definitely, there's no talking around that, is there? Saying, oh, I don't know how that got there, officer. When I stopped for petrol, somebody must have put that body in of my wife. Yeah, somebody must have put the body of my ex-wife in the tank when I stopped for petrol. I don't know anything about it. So he'll have got rid of poor Anna as soon as possible. And it's the total disrespect, isn't it? Complete disrespect for someone you were married to for 14 years. Just because they didn't want you anymore. They didn't want to take your abuse anymore. And they didn't respond in a way that maybe my Camilla did when she went off and supposedly took her own life. Anna didn't decide to do that. She decided to get away from you, go miles away from you, go to Madrid, start a new life. She was doing salsa classes. She had new friendships. She was going, she was discovering herself. And you wouldn't let her do that, would you, David? I don't mean you, David. I mean Davido. Wouldn't let her do that. Couldn't let her do that. And he's gone halfway across the world to put a stop to it. Because he's gone to Serbia, and then from Serbia he's gone to Madrid. He must have planned that out. I mean, he's planned it terribly, obviously, because he made so many mistakes. But he's thought about that for a long time. He hasn't just decided. I mean, she went to Madrid, I think it was last November, December time, before Christmas anyway. So he's planned that for a couple of months. And there she was, poor Anna. I just, honestly, just the thought of her sort of, finally sort of, well, thinking she'd escaped from this man. She was financially secure. They had lots of money anyway, so why not just give her, 50%, which is what she was entitled to? Why murder her? For greed, for money, because he wanted more money. He, didn't want to give her the money she was entitled to. Horrible, just horrible. Anyway, he's been caught, so that's the good thing. I hope they're having fun with him in prison. It'll be a big shock for him because he's another of those man babies. He'd be like, he's had a privileged life since he went to America. They've led a very nice lifestyle, and he won't be living a nice lifestyle now. And I don't know what it'd be like with the other prisoners, if they're a bit xenophobic or not, with him being from Serbia. I don't know. I expect he's in with a load of other wife murderers, though. So, they're probably all wife murderers. So maybe he's not getting a hard time. I don't know. But he didn't get out on bond. The judge saw through that, so that's good. So yeah, so we can see, that's where he's gone, to Serbia, and where the police is apparently searching is roundabout sort of here. On the way. So I hopefully we'll get some news soon, and I'm sure Julie will let me know if she has anything on the local news in Madrid. I mean, I always follow all the news, etc., that I can about Anna, but sometimes things come out on local news first, don't they? But yeah, so I do, you can't, the Spanish police, they are very efficient, and of course they don't have a problem working with other countries either, so it's like everything was about Anna. It's nice really, because it just shows that although Anna is not Spanish, there wasn't any difference in the way they looked for her, or the determination they've got in finding her. And as I said, once her case was declared a case of gender violence, that was always going to be top priority in Spain, because this is a big thing in Spain at the moment, because they're trying, they've had a bad record of domestic violence, and they're trying as hard as they can to change that. So, these things are generational, aren't they? They don't happen overnight. But one thing you've got to say is they are trying their best to do something. So let's hope that, works in Spain. Okay, so that's Anna. Now I want to go back to Samantha now, and these similarities. We're praying, hoping for news of finding Anna very soon. And the same with Samantha. So let's have a look at Samantha. Now, we've been Samantha's case. Gosh, we've followed it. People all over the world are following Samantha's case as well. And again, I've tried to keep it high profile, even when it's gone quiet and there's not been any news. And then of course this week there's been the massive news that they found her phone and cards, etc. So again, although the guy is in custody, but he's got his court case coming up in August. I think David's is in August as well. I think both their court cases are in August. So that'll be a busy time, like covering, the Spanish, as David's being tried in Florida, of course, in America, they're much more transparent about cases and things. So we might get quite a lot of information. I don't know how it works in Australia. Are court cases televised? I know Kelly's from Australia. Or is it not as transparent as that? Because, of course, in America, the cases get televised once the opening statements start and the defence asks for the evidence against their client, and that most of the evidence comes out then, publicly. even before the trial. So I don't know how it is in Australia. I don't think it works that way. I think Australia's probably got more of a British model, which is, so, just don't tell the stupid public anything. But I don't know. We'll find out. No, they're not televised. No, I didn't think they were in Australia. So it might be a long time before we find out the full story about Samantha. Whereas I think with Anna, because it's been, we may find out bits and pieces before time. So let's have it. Just let me look. So this was Samantha's last photo of her taken alive that morning, that fateful morning when she went out for a jog. She cleared up a dog's mess for the last time, and off she went on her jog, which was a regular thing she did. It was 8:30 in the morning, I think, because it was hot, so she went out while it was still cool and just never came home. And the police think she got about 7 kilometres up the road to Mount Clear near Ballarat in Australia, and that's when, for some reason, probably to do with this Apple Watch that she's wearing, they think she was attacked and killed there and then. That's what they've said they think. So it's got to be something to do with the data off the watch. Though as far as I know, they haven't got the watch itself, but of course it's an Apple Watch, so the data will be in the cloud. And that's what's decided. I can only imagine that that's what's decided them, that whatever happened to Samantha happened at that moment, because of whatever's come up on the data. But again, we've got to find out. So I would just want to have one more look. The other day we had a look at, where the phone was found at the dam. They found the phone at the dam, and Ninja Chihuahua, who's like another YouTuber, an Australian YouTuber, and she's been very helpful, providing us with quite a lot of information about the actual geography again of the area. So I just wanted to have one more look at the video that she made, showing us the dam and the difference. I think what's very relevant, let me just share it, is the difference between the dam as it was in February, which of course was summer in Australia. So this is the dam where the phone was found. This is how it was in February, and this is how it is now. And that phone has been found along this bank. So it seems like it was likely chucked in there at the time. It could be a different place, couldn't it? Could be a different place. It was probably chucked in there at the time when the water was higher. And now, even though it's winter now, apparently they've not had that much rain. So let's just see what she says.
About the discovery of the mobile phone in a dam. This is just a quick add-on to the video that I made earlier about the discovery of the mobile phone in a dam or in the mud at the side of a dam in relation to the Samantha Murphy case. So there's been a few more news articles out since then, and they mentioned that one particular news report, they said they'd spoken to the owner of the property, and he had been told several weeks ago by police that they were planning on searching the property. And he mentioned that the dam hadn't been that low in a very long time and that it had dropped considerably in recent months. So I thought I'd have a look and figure out, the location in comparison to where Samantha went missing and where other searches have been, etc. So I looked it up. The first thing that I saw was the huge difference in the amount of water in the dam on Google Maps as opposed to when you look at it in the news report. So definitely the water level had dropped considerably. So chances are that that phone was underwater previously. Now, looking at the location of the dam in relation to Buninyong, it appears to me, if we presume that if someone's going to ditch a mobile phone, they're not going to throw it from the opposite side of the road. They're going to throw it, look for a dam on that side of the road, presumably, which to me would say that the vehicle was headed out of Buninyong and that dam was conveniently right there by the side of the road, somewhere to turf a phone so that it couldn't be traced, which makes a lot of sense when you look at the timeline and them talking about the pings from the phone and everything. Now, the thing that's interesting is that if you then have a look at where that road would be headed, if you happen to be on that side of the road where the dam is, then the closest area is Enfield State Forest, which is thousands of acres of state forest full of old abandoned gold mines. And I know police have already looked there, but it's a massive area.
Yep.
But to me, the location of the phone points towards, the very real possibility that Samantha could be somewhere in that state forest. I hope that this is, that finding the phone and whatever other evidence they found, because they've spoken about items, plural, of evidence. So I hope that they are adequate to point police to where Samantha...
Yes, so they have confirmed now, of course, so it is definitely Samantha's phone. And yeah, they said they'd found items, plural, but of course in the phone there were cards, credit cards. I don't know, there was a few different, we don't know exactly what was in there, but in the wallet of the phone, you know, in the cover of the phone, it had a little wallet thing where you put your cards or things. So that might be what they mean by items. There might not be anything else that they found, but they will. They will. The thing is, I'm 100% certain they will find Samantha. I'm 100% certain they will find Anna Knezevic. The problem is, it's time. You know, it would be just so brilliant if they could find them before their trials. You know, and as you say, David, I'm going to be busy in August, and then there's Sarah Sharif's trial, coming up. Having said that, I think, you know, they're not going to get away with that. I mean, you know, little Sarah Sharif, her dad and her stepmother, you know, something happened there. She was murdered, either deliberately or accidentally, and then they buggered off to bloody wherever it is they come from, you know, and then phoned up the police from there to say, oh, go to the house, you'll find Sarah's body. You know, so I'll be I cannot see that they would not be found guilty. But you know what? You don't know what they're concocting in the meantime. But yeah, that's another case that's coming up over the summer. You know, the thing is, there's always a case, isn't there? But you know, I want to, what can I say? You know, I like to stick the cases that I'm covering. Then there's always a new case comes up afterwards. But like Sarah, Sarah as well, because I've covered Sarah's case since it's happened. The problem with British cases is UK cases, you can't get any information about anything, so it's hard, you know, to do a video, to do a deep dive, as they call it. You can't do a deep dive when nobody's giving you any information, and you're like treated like some sort of nutter if you even ask. That's the problem with the UK, all the secrecy, you know. Of course, American cases are so much more transparent. And what I found with the Australian cases, at least there is news, and the police do come out when they want to. They, you know, the missing person unit. I'm surprised they haven't done a press conference yet about this. Maybe they're hoping to find the body. It just make you wonder if in Samantha's case, if there is anybody else involved in this. I don't know, but you always feel like the police, although they've got Patrick in custody, maybe it's just the way they are, the Australian police. They're still secretive, you know, so, but maybe that's because they haven't found Samantha yet. So maybe that's it. But yeah, it's strange there's not been a press conference about them finding the phone, isn't it? Because you could see they were absolutely delighted that they'd found the phone. So you think they would have a press conference, you know, just for some updates. Of course, then the other case, of course, I'm following is Sebastian Rogers. You know, I don't know if any of you watched Steph's interview last night. I've watched it this morning, and I don't know whether to sort of go through that or not. I still haven't done about the divorce papers of Seth, though he was saying on this interview that he wants the divorce papers, his side of the divorce papers. Nobody's talked about it. And the reason I keep saying I'm going to talk about it, and then I keep thinking, oh, no, I don't want to, you know, add fuel to the fire of all this mudslinging. But he said on his interview last night, I wish somebody would show my side of the divorce papers. So I may do that tonight. I don't know if people are interested in it. But yeah, so let's just watch the end of this video by Nita.
Or even if they are adequate to give police some sort of leverage to get that boy to turn around and say where Samantha's body is.
Okay. So that's where we are with both those cases. So, you know, there's obviously a lot of differences between those cases, but a lot of similarities. You know, two women murdered by a man, one by their ex-partner, Anna, and Samantha by some bloody 22-year-old kid. I know he's not a kid, I know he's a man, but I still can't get over his age. Just the thought of someone that age could be that wicked, you know, you just think, what? So there's the differences, because Anna, of course, was murdered by her ex-husband. Samantha supposedly had no connection to Patrick. Whether anything will come out nearer at the trial, that there was any sort of tenuous link, I don't know. But the police at the moment, the police are insisting there is no connection between Samantha and Patrick. So those were the differences, but the similarities are, you know, people have been charged for their murder, but their bodies have not been found. But the other similarity, which is a positive thing, is it feels like both police forces are making some progress. You know, finding the phone of Samantha Murphy is a massive thing. Arresting, you know, David and finding all this evidence about the hire car, which will have a sat nav in it. They'll have possession of his phone now, won't they? You know, so they've got so much more information on him, and I am really confident that both these women are going to be found. It just might not be like today, or it might be today. It'd be any day, but I hope both of them are found before the actual court cases. That's what I hope. You know, but the thing is, the way these both men have acted, the death penalty is not on the table in America, but I hope it contributes to the length of the sentence, that if he's found guilty, of course he's not been found guilty yet, but if Patrick Stevenson is found guilty, his incooperation, if you like, or uncooperation, or whatever the word is, his refusal to cooperate, hopefully will make it a longer sentence for him. And as far as David is concerned, well, don't know what he's going to do. I think he's up a SHIT creek without a paddle, David, because they're going to find her. They've got all this CCTV of him. I think they've got enough evidence even without the body to give him the death penalty. So if he doesn't start making a plea bargain soon, he definitely is going to be history in all senses of the word. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he'd rather die, I don't know, than face a life sentence in prison. It's some people prefer that, but of course it's not an instant thing, is it? The death penalty either. You're still going to do quite a few years in prison. Hi Jean. Hi Lady Dog Lover. Joanne, we're talking about Anna Knezevic. If you've not watched from the beginning, because we're talking about Anna Knezevic, who went missing from Spain, and she was getting divorced from her husband. And then, of course, Samantha wasn't getting divorced from her husband. No, Samantha was not getting divorced. But we're talking about the similarities between the two cases, because both these women have been murdered. Both of these women, the alleged murderers, have been arrested, but neither of these women, their remains have not been found. So that's what we're waiting for in both cases. And they both went missing around the same time. It was in February. So, yeah, there's a lot of similarities in their cases, but a lot of differences as well. But the main similarities are their remains haven't been found, but there is someone in custody for their murder. Whereas, and then the other lady that we've been following her case, Rachel Marin, who was murdered in Maryland in America, her body was found immediately, but her murderer has not been found, even though they've got DNA and a really good photo fit of him and God knows what. That's very mysterious. He's got to have fled the country, that guy. He's got to have left the country. How could he not be found yet? It's sort of beyond me. But again, that can change overnight. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They could be like, a day from arresting him for all we know. But that'll have been a year. In August, that'll have been a year that Rachel Marin was murdered. And yeah, so it's sort of the opposite there. They had, a family been able to give her a burial, but unfortunately they've got to live with the fact that the twonk that murdered her is still out there somewhere. Whereas at least the friends and relatives of Anna Knezevic and Samantha Murphy at least can rest knowing that the murderers, or the alleged murderers, I have to keep remembering to say that, the alleged murderers are in prison and, can't cause any damage to anybody else. So I thought I'd update you all on the Anna Knezevic search. I think also, I sort of hope, I know this sounds odd, but I hope she is still in the suitcase. The suitcase surely will be easier to find. I don't know why I think that, because if she's still in the suitcase that he was seen coming out of the apartment block carrying, and the police think that Anna was in that suitcase, deceased. But if she's in the suitcase, that will preserve, some of the, for when it's found. Because if she was just, thrown as a body, of course, animals, unfortunately, nature, the weather, animals, etc., there's wild boars, God knows what, in Spain, would take its toll on the body, and then it'd be harder when it's retrieved, forensic examination, it'd be harder to establish cause of death, etc. There won't be like trace DNA on the bones and things. So I hope she is still in the suitcase, because when they find that suitcase, she'll be much better preserved. I know it sounds awful, because we've just got to face the fact she is most likely deceased. I think we're, the thought that maybe might have been keeping her somewhere is now sort of, the police are looking for a body, aren't they? They're looking for a body, and they're looking for this suitcase. I hope she is still in the suitcase, and she'll give up her secrets, if you like, when she's found, and they do the forensic examination on her. He'll be all over it, you know, and this is more evidence, you know, that just you know, ties him even more to this, because it's not enough, even the evidence that they've got so far. I don't know if they've got any DNA from inside the apartment. They probably have, because he's not criminal mastermind of the year, is it? I mean, if he couldn't even spray over a CCTV with black spray paint properly, I'm sure he's left some mistake in the apartment as well that the police aren't telling us about. But Julie, let me put the banner. It should come up on the... Hang on, I might be able to put the... On, where am I? Can't find it. Oh, this is the membership link. I don't know if I can put it in the chat, but when you go onto my YouTube, it should say, it should give links underneath there. But let me see. I think I can probably... Can I find the link? I'll see if I can find a link and put it here. Probably can. There's lots of videos on the members. That it? In fact, that's it. Yeah, you'll find there's quite a few extra videos on the members. Now then, back to comments. Sorry. That should be the link for membership. Now, let me take this banner down, because they... I noticed that, is it Joanne there who's asking about, saying that she didn't know that Patrick had a girlfriend. Oh yeah, because so Patrick was like your average Australian boy, wasn't he? He had a job, he was a tradie, he had a girlfriend, he had a wide circle of friends, he was out socialising, you know, he just seemed like a normal 22-year-old boy. I mean, doing daft things, going out, taking drugs and stuff, drinking, but you know, he's not the only 22-year-old that would be doing that. But he's probably one of the few 22-year-olds that are out actually murdering women as they're on a jog. But yeah, he's got a girlfriend called Meg. In fact, we'll have a look at her. There's been a lot of speculation that she may have gone to the police. But again, we don't know. We don't know if it was her, but she was actually there with him when the police raided the house where he was staying. I think he was house sitting. It wasn't his own house. I think he was house sitting. Yeah, they were Patrick Stevenson and his long-term girlfriend, Meg Harbour, 22. Were house sitting at a family friend's property in Scottsburn, 19 kilometres south of Ballarat, when police raided the premises on this was at the time, when the police raided the premises and arrested the electrician. So apparently, according to the Sun, which we know the Sun's always right, to be honest, the Sun, they're quite good with these kind of things, aren't they? Like with murder cases and stuff. Just not good with other things. Sorry, not the Sun, the Mail. So yeah, they say he was in a loved up long-term relationship with his girlfriend. So there you go. Let's see if I can find it here. Here is a picture of her. I mean, I feel for her because, you know, imagine at 22, it's bad enough at any age, but imagine you're 22, you've got a long-term boyfriend who you think is the best thing since sliced bread. Next minute, the police swoop in and arrest him for murder. I mean, you know, you've got to feel for these people. These are other victims. You know, if she knew nothing about it, which I don't think she did. I don't think she did know anything about it. She may have suspected him. Maybe she did go to the police. We don't know. They've not said anything about that. But imagine, you know, there's this guy that you've been going out with, sleeping with, you know, sharing a bed with. Not only that, sharing probably, you know, emotional moments, sharing your life with them, telling them, you know, giving them your heart. Imagine, and then suddenly you're lying in bed one morning, next minute the police, armed police, breaking through your door, arresting him for murder. And not only that, she'll have known about the murder. It'll have all been over the news in Ballarat. If it's reached all the ends of, you know, different corners of the world, like, she'll certainly have known about that murder. And then they just, there they go in and arrest your boyfriend. That's her, Meg. She is English, I think, or she's originally from England. So, of course, she'll have had the press all over her. All their photos on social media have been displayed, you know, that were on like their social media things, which is fair enough. So apparently he commented on a post of her in a bikini and said, I just saw your ad and I was wondering if this was still available. And she responded, I'm sorry, it's off the market pending pickup. So I don't know if they met over Facebook or that. I don't know how they met. But yeah, look, they look very loved up, you know. As I say, he's just leading a normal young person's life. He's going to parties, he's got a girlfriend, you know, all those things. Oh, thank you, Julie. Well, we're on Thursday, next Thursday. So every Thursday night, we have a members live, special members live on a Thursday night. And we greet the new members with a special song, which... you know, welcome to the family it is. And we'll greet you next Thursday. We'll all sing welcome to the family. Hi, Heather. Hi, Ali. So, yeah, there he is, Mr. Normal. Mr. Normal, sporty, young 22-year-old. He's a good-looking lad. You can see that girls would be interested in him. He's a bit of a knob as far as I'm concerned. But, you know, when you're 22... you do tend to fall for knobs. It's only as you get older that you start being a bit more discerning. Yeah, he looks handsome, tall. And I'm sure Meg was in love with him. Apparently he was telling her he loved her. You know, she's an attractive girl. I just must be awful to find that sort of thing out about the person you thought you were in love with. And all the time he's been the one who's murdered Samantha. All the time that he was with her, and of course it was a long time before he was arrested. I expect, you know, during that time they'll have spent time together, slept together. She'll be going through all that in her head, wondering if she should, maybe she did see a sign and maybe she did go to the police. We don't know, do we? We don't know yet how he came to be arrested. What made the police focus in on him? Was it his phone data? Did somebody else see him? Or was it her went to the police? Or another member of his family? Or, you know, one of his friends? We just don't know. We don't know what brought Patrick to the police's attention. Just have a look at the gallery. Yet. So that's Samantha. Yeah, Megan the Twonk. But yeah, but she's going through it all in her mind. Everything he ever said. Should she have seen the signs? What was he like? I mean, that particular day, you know, after he'd done it, did he spend the rest of the day with her? Was he with his parents? Was he with his friends? You know, I do feel for her. I feel very sorry for her, to be honest. Very, very sorry for her. Because there's always people, even, you know, it doesn't matter whether she's ever, it's like with Madeline Soto and Jen Soto, there'll always going to be people who think that Jen should be arrested, whether she's done anything wrong or not. No, because she's been found guilty by the court of public opinion for letting her daughter sleep in the same bed as her stepfather. And some people, there'll be people out there that will say, oh, Meghan must have known something if she was his girlfriend. You know, but you know what? Often you don't know anything. You literally do not know anything. You know, you can be someone's wife, husband for years, son, daughter. You know, I've watched a lot of videos from a family of serial killers who literally, their father, in particular fathers, they thought they were the best father in the world. Wouldn't have had a clue that they had that side to them. Meantime, they're out murdering people. But I don't know. A lot of people lead double lives, not sometimes to the extreme of going out killing people, but you know, it's like people that have affairs. Some people, men and women, they can compartmentalize their life, can't they? A lot of people do it all the time. I'm rubbish. I'm just rubbish. It's not. I'm not saying that as a virtue, because I wish I could compartmentalize my life, but I find it difficult because it's, you know, I'm a bit all or nothing. So I'm either sort of I'm with that person and it's all like you know, full on, or then I'm not. I don't want to be with them at all. But I don't really ever have that sort of in between feeling. You know, I'm an all or nothing person. That's just the way I am. But some people aren't. Some people have several affairs, not only one affair. That's what happens sometimes. You know, when people who kill their partner get caught out, and the person that they've killed their partner for, not necessarily that they knew about it, turns out there's others as well, other mistresses or mastresses or whatever you call a man that someone's having an affair with. Some people are serial adulterers and they can keep it all going. They can lie effortlessly. And they have you know, some people can do that. I personally cannot do that. I personally cannot do that. Yeah, let's get the sonar. Well, do you know what, Heather? It is Specialist Group International. So there you go. Why not get the sonar? I'm sure the Australians have got their own sonar that's just as good as British sonar. So there you go. So there's the two of the cases that we're dealing with. The similarities between them. Both women murdered, and both of them, their alleged killer is in custody, but unfortunately both these ladies need to be found. No, so that is what the candle is for today. We're going to say, you know, they're always in my prayers, that they're found, that their remains are found and brought home to their families, so the families get some comfort at least. Okay, so I'm going. It's boiling here. It's so hot. It's hot. It's too hot. Don't like it. Summer's coming. Summer's coming. So thank you, Julie, for becoming a member. Thank you so much. And I will be back later. Oh, there's so much news at the moment. I don't know where to start with the news. Of course, Mr. Trump was found guilty. I think that's going to propel him right into the White House, you know, because there'll be a backlash against that. I think he's probably going to win the presidency. You know, he'll use it to his advantage. He's someone who's good at some people are really good at PR, aren't they? You know, when you look into it, there's no substance behind you know, what they're saying, what they're doing. Some people are just really good at managing the media and knowing the right thing to say. Not only managing the media, but managing the public, knowing what the public wants to hear, or, you know, really resonating with people. Some people are really good at that, and some people are rubbish. So, you know, but someone who's good at that, they don't even have to have really any substance behind it. You know, if then when you find out a little bit about them, like I'm not even going to mention who springs to mind, or when you start looking into it and chipping away at it and saying, oh, well, what is this then? There's nothing there. There's actually nothing there. It's just talk. Some people are good at it. Some people are good at PR, etc. You know, and Mr. Trump is very good. He's so divisive, and I notice from comments whenever I say anything about Donald Trump, you know, a lot of people love him. You know, you can't deny it. A lot of people think he is great, and you know, I'm not an American, so you know, he seems to resonate with a lot of Americans that have, you know, feel that their country, a bit like in Britain, a lot of people like Nigel Farage. It's like, you know, I don't understand it, but people do. You know, that's he ticks a box with some people, or he, you know, I don't know. People respond to him for whatever reason. So divisive figures, everything's divisive these days, but some people definitely are really good at PR. Someone who's not good at PR is phony Tony full of baloney in the Sebastian Rogers case. Oh my God. So he just needs to go. I think he's been very detrimental to the whole case, Tony. I will be doing another video on that soon, I suppose, because, you know, people genuinely, they want to know what happened to Sebastian. They're interested in Sebastian. They're sympathetic towards Seth, but I think Tony has really undone a lot of that sympathy from the way he is. So Sebastian's another one, of course. When will Sebastian be found? Anyway. Heather's talking about Nadjas again. Look, so Heather, you've made up your own words like I did with twonk. I've never heard the word Nadja before. So maybe I'm going to have to get a little members only emoji done saying what a Nadja. Well, it's too long, that word. You can only fit short words on the emojis. Nadja. Yeah. Yeah, we like making words up on this channel, don't we? We make up our own. I've never heard that. Nadja, I haven't heard. Nadja and Nadja. Or I don't remember it. Maybe I heard it years ago, but I've lived in the north for a while. But I've got to say that's a new one on me. But I like it, though. I think it's very graphic. Very graphic. And, you know, it's good when you get a word like, I mean, to me, the word twonk just says it. You know, but it's not rude, really. You know, it's better than saying the TWAT word, or even though you might think that. Hi, Popeye. Popeye. I'm just finishing now. You have to go on. You'll be part of the replay crew. And admit Audacity is just joining us, but I'm just finishing. Much as I think, you know, God, I'd love to do that one day. Yeah, just do a whole day's live stream. Just put my phone in the corner or whatever and just talk to it all day. Okay, I'm definitely going. So I am going to just play my little adverts for Spanish classes and the English classes. I ended up not speaking much Spanish through that video, did I? Because it's just too much. It's already enough talking, and trying to then put it all into Spanish, it's just too much. But I'm going to put on my little advert for Spanish classes and my little advert for my book, Confessions of a Spanish Teacher. And then there'll be a little farewell. But I'll see you again later. I'll definitely be back on later. So remember to live and love. Let me just put that back up. Say thank you to Julie. Remember to live and love wisely and carefully until I see you again. May your God always always, always go with you. Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Did you ever want to know a little bit more about me and my background, how I came to become interested in true crime, how I ended up in Spain being a Spanish teacher? If you want to know a little bit about me, a little bit more about me as a person, you can find my book, Confessions of a Spanish Teacher, on any Amazon site, wherever you live in the world. And I believe that everyone has a story to tell, and this is my story. So it's the story of how I grew up in Manchester in the UK on a council estate, and very humble beginnings, and my journey through personal tragedies, disastrous romances, and triumphs to become a single mum, a Spanish teacher, and an interpreter living in Spain, and eventually a YouTuber reporting on true crime. So it details my various experiences with people and places over 20 years of teaching, over 20 years now. Ooh, where did that go? Of teaching Spanish and interpreting through the backdrop of the recession, financial uncertainty, severe flooding, and living through COVID. I hope you will find it funny, sad, amazing, silly, serious, and stranger than fiction at times. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope to make you angry at least once. I hope to make you cry at least twice, and I hope to make you laugh many, many times. So thank you for all your support on my YouTube channel, and if you want to know a little bit more about me as a person, then you can find out there. So thank you so much. See you very soon in the next video. And as always, hola, soy Vicky. And are you wanting to learn Spanish? Have you been trying to learn Spanish and it's just you can't put the words together? Common thing that people say to me is, I know a lot of words, but I just can't put a sentence together. So I'm here to tell you how you can learn Spanish through English. Learn how to make sentences, not phrase book Spanish. Learn how to ask questions, answer questions, right from beginner or whatever level you are. If you're struggling in putting it all together, there'll be a level I can offer you a solution. So I've been teaching Spanish for over 20 years to English-speaking people. And these are the books that I have written. Break the Language Barrier Level 1 for beginners. Level 2 for intermediate or sort of pre-intermediate. Level 3 intermediate. Level 4 upper intermediate. And level 5 for advanced. Because really level 5 is to practice what you've already learned. So if you've already learned a lot of Spanish, but you want some practice with translations, conversation practice, games, etc., level 5 is for you. If you know more than level 1, in other words, you know how to already speak in the present tense, if your grammar has gone past the present tense but you're struggling with the past tenses, level 2 is the book for you. All these books are available on Amazon. Any Amazon, wherever you are in the world that you want to learn Spanish, you can order one of my books from Amazon.